Well, good day to all of our awesome internet friends and family. Lamont Silver Sr. here. Hey, listen, guys, my wife and I are in our new office. So this is my first video that I'm cutting for our general audience in our new office. Looks like the internet's working. We should have phones up here real soon. And so that means that we should be able to get back to being back really in the saddle. Now, still, my internet at the house doesn't work all that well, and so I'll just be coming into the office every single day, spending several hours at the office working on my business, working on me, and working in my business. Okay, now, we did a webinar last night. We had a webinar last night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern that could, not my words, could be a game changer. It could be a game changer. What I want to do is I want to give you a Cliff Notes version here. I want to give you a Cliff Notes version in this particular video. So do me a favor, sit back, relax, no texting, make sure you are free of all distractions. Let me give you the Cliff Notes version. Number one, we know we've been talking for a little bit about the importance of you working on you and you building your following, that your business, particularly for those of you that want to build some type of network, and I think all of us do. Now, some of us may not be good at it just yet, and so maybe we've just kind of figured, well, hey, maybe that's not for me. But I'm going to tell you, when you build a team and you are generating revenues and you're not there, you know, that gets addictive. For 6-7 weeks, we were really out of the saddle, maybe even longer than that, really out of the saddle. But because we had a team, we were still generating commissions even though we were out of the saddle. So obviously the challenge is most people are not good at recruiting and sponsoring and building teams. And that's why for a couple year period, we saw models like Zeke Rewards, as an example, do so phenomenally well because it attracted a lot of people who weren't good at recruiting, weren't good at sponsoring. Now, we know that model does not work anymore. We know that model from a regulatory standpoint just won't stand up. So any reference to something like Zeke Rewards is only an income reference and not a reference to the model, okay? Because we know that model, that revenue sharing model, doesn't work. But we know that that model attracted so many people across the globe, primarily because people saw themselves being able to make money even if they weren't recruiters or sponsors or what have you. Okay, now let's set that aside for just a moment, and now let's talk about building your list and building your following. As we've been sharing and training over the past few months, we all have to develop our own following. You need to have a list that you own, you control, and you communicate with. You own it, you control it, you determine the communication. Do you want to talk about DS Domination? Do you want to talk about Empower Network? Do you want to talk about Pure Leverage? Do you want to, whatever it is that you want to share with your audience, you need to have a list that you own and control. Now, we're seeing in email marketing, we're starting to see email marketing become a little bit more difficult. It's not dead, not by any means. We'll always continue to want to have people opt into an email list, but we're seeing it become more challenging. Whether it is some of the well-known commercial autoresponders like Aweber, making it more difficult when you have an opt-in page for your prospect to simply put his or her name and their email address and start getting your series of emails. Now what we're seeing is that in many cases, that prospect is having to double opt-in. What that means is there's another step between you getting emails to your prospect and them actually receiving them. There's another step. And a lot of prospects could, if they don't go to their email address and confirm the subscription, they're not getting your email list. So here you are, you just purchased a few $100s or $1,000 or whatever it was in solo ads, or you purchased some banner advertising with the intent of people getting into your email list. And this is what NeverChase was talking about here a few months ago. They said, hey, this has made it more difficult to deliver the opt-ins that we had hoped to deliver. So we know that's a challenge. And going forward, it's going to probably continue to be a challenge. We also know, I saw this in my own list building, and I don't have 50 billion folks in my email list. I've got a few thousand, many of them fairly loyal and dedicated in terms of following. But I noticed over the summer a marked difference in my percentage of open rates. It used to be, if I sent out an email, I could just about tell you the percentage of people that were going to open an email, give or take a couple percentage points that day. I could tell you how many, the percentage of clicks we were going to have, if there was a video in there or an audio in there. I could tell you all of that from our analytics, and it was pretty consistent. What we saw, and at first I couldn't figure out why, what we saw is our open rate declined. Well, why did our open rate decline? Well, that was the time that Gmail did some changes to the Gmail platform. And instead of having all your emails go into your inbox, you started seeing emails being separated, emails that went into your inbox and emails that went into the social media tab and emails that went into the promotions tab. And so once again, I had a lot of people saying, hey, why am I not getting your emails anymore? Well, it wasn't that they weren't getting my emails. They were going over to the promotions tab if they were using Gmail. And because they were not used to checking the promotions tab, they thought they missed my emails, okay? So we've seen that happen over the past few months. And I've consulted with some pretty large list builders out there. And they've had the same challenges. Now, do we stop our email list building efforts? Say it with me. No. But are there things that we can do that are now more cutting edge that allow us to build another type of list? And so this is where we started to share with our audience the building of the utilization of a mobile marketing platform to build a text list. Now, this is what we know. We know that there are more cell phones in the marketplace globally than there are computers. We know that more and more people a lot of their lives, unfortunately, are revolving around the use of their mobile device, whether that is a cell phone, whether that is a tablet, or what have you. Many people check their emails now. Many people watch videos, YouTube videos and other videos on their tablet, on their mobile phone. So mobile marketing is cutting edge, and it's not going anywhere. Now, I've had my AWeber autoresponder since 2003, over 10 years. Now, have I promoted multiple companies in many cases? Not because I necessarily wanted to, because maybe a company let me down. Have I been through this company and that company and that company and this company in those 10 years? Yes. But what have I kept? I've kept my AWeber autoresponder. And even though I'm having some challenges with new opt-ins, I probably won't be using AWeber as much for new campaigns. I'll use it to communicate with my existing list and maybe use Get Response for my new campaigns. But I'm still going to keep AWeber. Why? Because I have several thousands of subscribers in my AWeber list. And so think about that for a moment. The person that referred me to AWeber through this company and that company and that company and this company that I've been through has still generated a monthly commission for the last 10 years. I'm never giving up my autoresponder. Now, let's transition that to mobile marketing. Even with mobile marketing, I'm never giving up my AWeber autoresponder. So now, mobile marketing, the reason we want to have a foothold in mobile marketing is because that's where the numbers are. More cell phones than computers. More and more people now are using their mobile devices for everyday things. When you get a text message, how long does it take you before you at least check the text message? When you get an email, how long does it take? Sometimes you might go a day, you might go a couple days without even checking your email, all right? And by that time, maybe an important email that came through, I know for me, if I go a day without checking an email, then the email that you sent me is going to be on page 2 or 3 or 4, which I never get the chance to get to. But text messaging Text messages are checked typically within just a few seconds of them being received by the recipient. Okay, so now we want to get into mobile marketing and building your text list. That's number one. Number two, we want to drive traffic, and we want to have an automated way of driving traffic to our mobile marketing platform that doesn't require you and I to have to become a traffic generation specialist, okay? Now, this system that we shared with our audience, I'm going to give you some numbers that they've given us. Now, there's a few of us that are doing a beta test because we want to prove the numbers. We don't want it just to be something that's on a sheet of paper or on a PowerPoint. We want to prove the numbers. The gentleman behind the system, so I'm told, generates over $1 million a month in revenue, okay? Has developed some major systems for some major companies in not only the networking industry, but my understanding is he's got a lot of clients that have nothing to do with network marketing or what have you, and that this is the first time that this platform is being introduced in an affiliate type model. This is not a full-blown, there's no binary, there's no 10 levels, it's a 2-tier system. Okay, now, based on the data they are sharing with us, and we will prove that out with our beta test team to see if those numbers are anywhere close. Based on the data, what they are saying is when you purchase advertising, you'll be able to purchase advertising in $100 units. What they say is that they do Madison Avenue type of advertising. Now, what that seems to suggest to me is that they're doing some high volume, high scale advertising that you and I probably would not be able to afford on our own. But by a lot of people doing advertising, they're able to go and get a lot of advertising done. Now, the reason we put together a beta test is because we've brought some co-op opportunities to our audience. Some things work, some things don't. And so we don't want to just go all out in the marketplace shouting a bunch of numbers without having, so you can tell me this is what's happened the last 10 years. Okay, that's great. But, we've been through, some of you that have been with us for a while, we've been through some wars together. We've won some battles, we've lost some battles. And so I want to make sure that as we share this message and as we start getting aggressive in sharing this message with this particular platform, that the numbers are at least close to what they're sharing. Now, let me give you an idea of what they're sharing. If the numbers are anywhere close, the types of incomes that can be generated with this platform could more than replace what some of you were generating with a company called Zeek Rewards. It's not the same model. I'm not comparing the model. I'm simply comparing incomes, because some of you had your biggest heights with that particular model. Now, let me tell you why I'm saying this, okay? I'm going to give you the numbers and give you the game plan, and then we'll have a webinar on this coming Wednesday so you can see the charts and all of that good stuff. This is based on numbers they provided to us. We will go do a beta test to see if those numbers ring true. What they're saying is, for a $100 purchase of advertising, your target is to get 20 to 25 data opt-ins. 20 to 25 data opt-ins. That would be kin to an email opt-in, all right? Only this is a text opt-in. You'll have a back office. You'll be able to see everyone that opted in. You'll even be able to see, for instance, if you send out a video in a text message to them, you'll be able to see who watched the video, how long they watched it. I mean, it's an incredible platform. Absolutely amazing platform. Okay. So you purchase an ad pack for $100 US. The target is to get 20 to 25 data opt-ins. Now, with their system, they send their folks through a paid application process. Now, there was a company called Carbon Copy Pro that did the same thing. I don't know this to be completely true, But I think that this automated or automatic recruiting platform, the guy behind it could have been the one behind Carbon Copy Pro. I don't take that to the bank, but I know they had a similar system. The system went like this. You get an opt-in. In our case, it'll be a text opt-in. That opt-in then is taken through a series of qualifiers. They'll watch a very short video. They'll then, if they want to progress to get more information, they'll then pay $4.95. So now they become a paid applicant. When you see that the person is a paid applicant, immediately in your back office, you should be thinking, this is a much hotter prospect, because they went through the process of pulling out their credit card and paid $5 essentially to raise their hand and say, I'm a red hot prospect. That's essentially what has happened, okay? All right, so they'll do that. So $100 ad purchase, 20 to 25 data opt-ins is what we're targeting, 5 to 6 paid applications, 5 to 6 people that have raised their hand and said, I'm really a hot prospect. And while you can talk to your subscribers about anything you want to share with them, one of the things I highly encourage you to do is to use the campaign that they have for their platform. Why? Because if you run across somebody, let's say they're doing very well in Empower Network, okay? They're doing very well. They're making $10, $20, $30, $50,000 a month in Empower Network. Well, it's going to be difficult to get them to come into your network marketing opportunity. However, if you had a platform that helped them build their Empower Network business with even more fervor and generate even more profits, you may get them to use the platform. Now, why is that important? Because for every person that becomes a user of the platform at your referral, and remember when I say your referral, it could be that you simply purchase an advertising package, those prospects went through the system, and then let's say one of those out of 100 decided that they wanted to actually use the platform themselves. So here's what we're targeting. $100 ad purchase, US dollars, 20 to 25 data opt-ins, one person that uses the platform. That one person that uses the platform, when they pay their monthly subscription, it generates for you a $100 a month commission every month that they stay on the platform. How long have I been on the Aweber platform? 10 years, okay? All right. Now, here's the numbers that could get you from $1,000 US outlay to, I'm going to say, $25,000 a month in the next 12 months. If I said to you, hey, would you be willing to find a way without hurting your family to come up with $1,000 to get your business up and running? If in 12 months it could produce for you $25,000 a month that you put in your pocket, I think every single one of you would find a way to come up with $1,000 without hurting your family, without doing anything illegal, okay? All right, so now walk through this with me. Again, I'm giving you a Cliff Notes version. What we're going to do is we're going to suggest that people get the platform. I'll tell you how much the platform is in just a moment. And start off with a $500 core monthly advertising budget. If the numbers they're sharing with us is anywhere close to being true, we will hit this thing out of the ballpark. So let's say you get $500 worth of advertising. You purchase 5 $100 ad packs. You get an average of 20 to 25 data opt-ins in your text list per $100 outlaid. In that example, you would have somewhere between 100 to 125 opt-ins into your text list. And you can text them about anything. You got a webinar coming up, text them about the webinar. You got a YouTube video you want them to watch, text them the YouTube video. Okay? Whatever. You talk to them about whatever you want to talk about. Of those 5 ad packs, you're looking to generate about 5 users of the platform. You didn't sell them on that. The system does that. Hear me. You didn't sell them on that. I'm not talking about you talking to your friends and your family and your Facebook folks and what have you. I'm simply talking about you purchasing advertising, the advertising directing laser-targeted traffic to your data opt-in page, and then the system from there doing what it does, producing one sign-up on average per $100 in advertising. Those are the numbers they've shared with us. We're putting together a beta test group to see if those numbers are anywhere close. All right, so follow me here. You started off first month, $500 core advertising budget. Let's say we hit the numbers of one sale, one user for every one ad pack. It could be 1.2, it could be 0.78. We'll figure out those numbers when we put some large numbers to figure out the law of averages, okay? So now you have $500 that you've generated in cash. Well, you want to have a consistent advertising budget, so the next month, starting month 2, you take the $500 that you earned in commissions and you use that for your core advertising budget, okay? All right, so now your second month advertising came from profits that you generated the previous month. Okay, now, if you get the same 5 new signups in month 2, remember the 5 signups you had in month 1, and you're getting $100 a month per subscriber that you've personally enrolled. So in month 2, you now have generated $1,000 in commissions. Let's take the $500 core advertising budget. You generated $1,000. You're going to have your core advertising budget of $500 in this example. That leaves you with $500. Now, I want to get you to $25,000 or more in the next 12 months. If these numbers are correct, you'll blow through $25,000. To do so, let's reinvest, recapitalize back into our business. You generated $1,000 in profits. You took $500 as your core monthly advertising budget. That left you $500. Take half of that, put it in your pocket, $250. Take the other $250, add that to your core advertising budget. So now your core advertising budget, instead of being $500, is $750. Now what I would do, since I'm at $750, is, and I'm buying $100 ad packs, I would go in and buy an $800 or 8 ad packs that month. Okay. Now let's say you bought 8 ad packs that month. We're going into month 3 now. And you generated 8 new users of the platform. So that's $800 in commissions. But people from month 2, they pay their monthly subscription. So that's $500 from the 5 folks that joined you in month 2. 800 plus 500 is $1,300. Plus the people back in month 1, they pay their monthly subscription. There's another $500. So now all of a sudden, you're at $1,800 a month. Now, remember, you had a core advertising budget of, let's say now, $800. So you take the $800 core advertising budget, you're left with $1,000. Out of that $1,000, take $500, add that to your core advertising budget, put $500 in your pocket. And if you did that for 12 months, the numbers don't show $25,000 a month. The numbers show you putting $63,000 a month in your pocket residually. Now, we still have to prove if those numbers are accurate. And I'm not going to say, hey, these are the numbers, because we're entrepreneurs and we've seen some things work and some things not work, okay? This is why we put together a beta test, so that as Molly purchases $500 worth of ads, and Sarah purchases $1,000 worth of ads, and Darlene purchases $2,000 worth of ads, then with this beta test, we can really get a sense by having larger numbers as to whether or not how close we are, how accurate are those numbers. For instance, if we have in our beta test $100,000 worth of ad purchases, nobody's being commissioned on the ad purchases. If we've got $100,000 worth of ad purchases, and we wind up, as we check the data, that we got 20,000 between our beta testers, we got 20,000 opt-ins, well, then we know that 20 to 25 opt-ins per 100 is pretty accurate. If we've got between, let's say, $100,000 worth of ad purchases, we've got 1,000 folks that have now become users of the system, well, we now know that those numbers are pretty accurate. And if those numbers are accurate, ladies and gentlemen, it's over. And the reason it's over is because all you've got to do is start your advertising campaign, have a core monthly budget you start with, and then with new profits, you simply scale up. Ultimately, I want you having a monthly advertising budget of $100,000 a month. Because if you have a monthly advertising budget of $100,000 a month, that means you're putting in about $100,000 in your pocket per month. Ultimately, I want you to have a monthly advertising budget of $250,000 a month. Because if you have a monthly advertising budget of $250,000 a month, that means you're probably putting $250,000 a month in your pocket. This is real business, ladies and gentlemen. Real business, real business. Real businesses advertise. Advertise. Okay, now let me finish with this, and we'll round third. I've just talked about you having the potential of taking $1,000 US and in 12 months being at $25,000 a month residually. Where did that money come from? Where did that $1,000 come from? The platform is $250 a month. $250 a month. If you start off with $500 in advertising, then that would mean that your initial outlay was $750. $750. Going into your second month, if you got five users of the system, you generated $500. There's your second month advertising budget coming from profits. And then you've got still, going into the second month, you've got $250 as your monthly subscription. So if you had $1,000, you could basically have your monthly subscription 2 months set aside. You know, first month is immediate, and then the second month, 30 days thereafter. Have your initial advertising budget of $500, and let's see if the numbers work out. If the numbers don't work out, if they're not close, what's our worst case? Our worst case is maybe we outlaid $1,000. And if it didn't work, it didn't work, okay? That's the life of an entrepreneur. Some things work, some things don't. If it works, and those numbers are accurate, or anywhere close, 12 months from now, you could be $50,000, $60,000 a month. And you know what I haven't even talked about? The fact that as users come into your platform, and they share, and they purchase advertising themselves, so they'll start referring folks to the platform through their advertising purchases, or maybe they're even talking with their existing following. When they refer, not only do they make $100 a month per referral, but because you referred them, two-tier solution here, you make $100 per month. So what if in time you've personally enrolled 100 folks? Not that you are this recruiting guru, but you use this system. Well, that's already $10,000 a month that you're generating. And what if between those 100 folks, they just an average enrolling 3 apiece? So now there's 300 on your second tier, times $100 a month. Now, you're at 40 grand a month, ladies and gentlemen. You're making a full-time income, an annual income on a monthly basis. So, this is what I want you to do for me, okay? I want you to consider doing 2 things. 1, Wednesday night, November the 11th, I'm going to have a special webinar where we're going to share this information. You'll be able to see charts and so on and so forth, okay? 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I don't care what you have to do, and I don't care what part of the world you're in. I want you on that webinar live. I want you on that webinar live. That's one. Number two, I want you to be a part of our beta test. Now, we're going to have 2 beta test groups. We know not everyone has the resources to make a $500 advertising purchase for whatever reason. And so if you don't have the resources, but you at least want to be a part of the platform so that you can start to refer others and make some money, then your outlay is going to be $250, and then whatever advertising you can afford. And by the way, you don't have to even worry about the advertising today, because my understanding is that advertising hasn't started just yet. They've been in beta test themselves, all right? The reason I want you to go on and get the platform now, sooner rather than later, is because when you have someone opting in with their cell phone number, the system locks that person to you. If that person doesn't upgrade with the platform today, does it a week from now, a month from now, 2 months from now, because they're locked into you, then you will get that referral. You'll get the $100 a month commission. So I at least want you doing the $250 so that you don't miss out on any potential commissions as a result of not engaging. So we've got a beta test list that we call Beta Test 1. You would email me at N4W beta test 1 at gmail.com. Your N4W beta test 1 at gmail.com. If you want to be a part of our beta test, but you don't really have $500 right now for the advertising piece, you're emailing me tells me that you're at least going to do whatever you've got to do to come up with the $250. Now, when you email me, I want you to tell me who you are. Give me your contact information. Even if you think I have it, give me your contact information. And then let me know who your enrollers should be. Many of you that are watching this video, you didn't get to my following because of me. It was someone else. And I want to make sure, since there is a very major income tie here, that the proper people get the proper credit. That's just how we always like to do business, okay? So let me know who your enrollers should be. And if you happen to have your enrollers' contact information, let them know they need to be on our webinar on Wednesday night, okay? Now, if I'm supposed to be your enroller, just let me know that. I'll send you a referral link. But I really only want to send my referral link out to people that should be direct to me. Okay, that's so those are the 2 things. Come to the webinar, and if you're beta test 1, N4W beta test 1 at gmail.com. Your beta test 2, if you are going to beta test with a minimum of a $500 advertising purchase. It may be $500, it may be $600, it may be $6,000. So your beta test 2, if you're going to test with at least a $500 ad pack purchase, you'd be doing $250 for your platform, and then let's say $500 or $1,000 or whatever that number happens to be. The reason I'm asking you to do this is so that we can compile a list of our beta testers. And even if you're beta test 1, you know, if you're going to do $100 advertising, let me know that. If you're going to do $200, let me know that. Beta test 1 just simply means right now you can't, or you're not committing to $500 for advertising. What we want to do is we want to be able to look at all of the numbers of the advertising purchases. Let's say if it's $23,000 in advertising purchases, if it's $100,000, whatever the number is, and then be able to come back to this beta test group and say, okay, John, Mary, Susan, what were the results of your ad purchase? How many ads did you purchase? How much? What was your dollar amount? How many ad packs did you get? Okay, how many opt-ins did you get out of that? How many sales did you get out of that? My wife was telling me we've got to go. I think we've got to pick up our children. So that's what I want you to do for me Wednesday night. And then send me the email on the beta test. I'm going to do something very special, but I don't have time to talk about what it is. I'll tell it to you on Wednesday night. Send me an email, N4W beta test 1 at gmail.com or N4W beta test 2 at gmail.com. We love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours.